All right, guys, we are back, and once again, we're talking about this situation with Errol the True Spence Jr. and Derrick James. You guys know the rumor has been these last 2 days is that Errol Spence Jr. and Derrick James have parted ways due to finances, due to the fact that Derrick James believes that Errol Spence Jr. owes him money, and there's even talks of Derrick James suing Errol the True Spence Jr. Now, first of all, shout out to CJ Goodfella from Goodfella Sports TV. He had the insider information and he put this out there, like I said, a couple of days ago. But we still don't have any confirmation from either party, Errol or Derrick James. So I'm still inclined to believe it's still in the rumor space. We haven't found out anything yet. Now, I did watch an interview today with Derrick James. He did an interview on Cigar Talk. Shout out to Cigar Talk. And of course, he was questioned about, his next two fights coming up with Ryan Garcia, who he's training right now to take on Devin the Dream Haney. And of course, Frank the Ghost Martin, who he's training to take on Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, let me say this, DJ, you got your hands full in your next two fights because Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin the Dream Haney, those guys are the cream of the crop. Those guys are elite fighters. They are very special fighters. And I will say this, Ryan Garcia and Frank Martin are fighting an uphill battle in those fights. But I'm sure Derrick James will have those guys fully prepared for war come fight time for both of them. Not knowing whether or not they're going to win, I'm kind of inclined to believe the other two guys will be victorious. But I know Derrick James is a good trainer, and he's going to have those guys fully prepared. Now, of course, in that same interview, he was asked about Errol the True Spence Jr., where Errol the True Spence Jr.'s head was at. And from Derrick James' answer, it kind of led me to believe that, there's definitely something going on between him and Errol the True Spence Jr. He said that he talked to Errol, I think he said 3 weeks ago, and they were talking about the Frank's fight with Gervonta Tank Davis. And then he said something about, talking about himself, he says he's looking ahead and not looking backwards. But like I said, what leads me to believe where there's smoke, there's fire. There's something definitely going on there. But you can tell Derrick James isn't messy. He's a stand-up guy. And you guys know Errol Spence Jr., he is a very private person. So I don't think he wants to put his business out there, him and Errol Spence Jr.'s business out in the street. So I just feel like, he was being a little bit, guarded about what he says. He was very careful with the words he chose. And I can understand that. I can respect that. So I don't think we'll find out anything until Errol Spence Jr. comes back around and starts training for his next fight. We'll see who's actually training him, and then I think we will definitely get our answer if, this stuff is true or not. But anyway, another thing I wanted to discuss was I would say, I wouldn't say hate, but I would say some of the piling on Derrick James for, about the suing Errol the True Spence Jr. thing and, him wanting to be compensated. I look at it this way. I think Derrick James is 52 years old. He owns his own business, and he seems like a stand-up guy. And we've never seen him, in this capacity. The rumor is he put Errol Spence Jr. out of his gym because he felt like he was owed money. So that's kind of outside of what he normally does. So I'm more inclined to believe that a guy who owns his own business knows his worth. He knows his worth. And I hear a lot of people saying that Errol Spence Jr.'s fame has went to Derrick James' head. And I just have to disagree with that. I think Errol Spence Jr.'s fame is because of Derrick James, because of the tutelage of Derrick James. Derrick James got him to the dance. He's been with this guy his entire professional career. His training and his tutelage got Errol Spence those 3 titles. He made Jermell Charlo an undisputed champion. A guy like that should be properly compensated, in my opinion. And, I just don't believe it has to do with fame. He doesn't seem like the type of guy that's running towards fame, we really don't see him talk a whole lot. I think he's serious about his craft and he's a professional. But that's the impression that I get. I don't think it has anything to do with that. And I think a lot of times, us as boxing fans, we can't see past our fandom to see what's right in front of your face. And I'm sure some of you guys watching right now have been in situations where you've been at a job and you feel like you're not being compensated properly, and maybe you go to management, or maybe you go and find another gig. And this is no different here. In my opinion, this is no different here. It's just that, these guys are famous and they're known. But that's my take on that, guys. I just feel like DJ's getting the short end of the stick on this one, because Errol Spence Jr. is the fighter. He's the famous one. And Derrick James is behind the scenes there. Behind every great man, there's somebody else helping you get there. That man for Errol Spence Jr. was Derrick James. All right, so you guys let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. Do you really think this is true? What's going on between those two? Do you think it's just, a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of hogwash? You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.